Hey y'all, it's Nisi Dixon. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you are returning, y'all, welcome back. Today we are about to talk about Married at First Sight, Season 13, Episode 6. Now, y'all, Married at First Sight, y'all got about one more episode to waste my 2 hours on a Wednesday. Not a whole lot happened. Not a whole lot happened at all. So I think that this should be pretty quick. I'm excited to talk to y'all about Married at First Sight tonight. But before we just jump into the review, real quick announcement, y'all. Tonight, y'all know it's Thursday. Ooh Ladies First panel is returning for another week, y'all. Of course, another week, every week, y'all. So yeah, we're gonna be on Bondi's channel at 8:15 Central Standard Time. So within the next 2.5 hours, we're gonna be live again to talk about a bunch of other stuff. So I hope I see y'all over on Bondi's channel. So let me go ahead and say what's up. What's up, Nana, Kishvar, Carrie, Alicia, Chanel. I asked y'all a question in the chat. In the chat, I asked y'all, who do y'all think the bad guy was this episode? The options were Gil, Mirla, and Bao. So y'all comment if y'all have the ability to, or just vote in the poll and let me know who the bad guy was. I definitely feel like Gil made me dislike Mirla a little bit less. Okay. What's up, Monique? Yeah, Liz. It was boring, y'all. It was boring. Yes. So, like I said, I ain't gonna hold y'all, but keep in mind I am gonna see y'all in the next 2.5 hours on Bondi's Blue channel, Bondi Blue's channel, if y'all want to talk about that. Get into this thumbnail though. Skipping showers. Y'all. Now, there are times when, people don't shower due to depression and stuff like that. There are times where you like, shit, I'm just going to lay down, wash off, shower in the morning. But not whenever you are, I feel like that's high-key disrespectful, okay? You have a whole man. The thing that was most disrespectful to me was that you said that you didn't want to shower after working out. That was wild. We're going to talk about that, okay? So let's go ahead and go couple by couple. The first couple I feel like we can go ahead and get out of the way is Brett and Ryan. So what we find out this episode is that Brett has yet another fear, y'all. And yeah, Brett and Ryan are born. But it's still something I feel like that's likable about Brett. Ryan, he was sounding like he was down to the Capitol on June 6th, 20. What was that? Was that 20? Was that this year? Was this last year? Y'all, like, time has flown. I think it was this year. I don't even know when, but Ryan was sounding like he was down to the Capitol, and Gil sounded like he rode him down there on his fire truck. So anyway, Brett and Ryan. We find out that Brett is afraid of everything in the water. So they go out like kayaking or on a little paddle boat or whatever, and they end up seeing a manatee. And Ryan, I don't know if it was the editing or if Ryan just hyped up this situation to make her more afraid, but he was definitely like, oh, it's under your boat. It's under you. And I'm like, why would you do that? Right? So anyway, he supports her throughout that situation. She feels a little bit more comforted by him, the same way that he rode on the airplane with her. And she just felt a little bit more comfortable to him. So, y'all, while we're on Ryan and Brett, we might as well talk about politics. Towards the end of the episode, y'all, Brett wants to rehash a conversation that the couples have whenever they met up. Whenever the couples meet up, they talk about a couple of things. They talk about sex. Actually, let's go ahead and talk about the meetup. So in the middle of the episode, y'all, Zach FaceTimes everybody in the group. And he lets everyone know that, he's doing better, but his only concern is that Michaela is going to resent him. Y'all, I feel like they had to do a good job pairing these two together, because while Michaela seems like a hothead, Zach doesn't want to upset her. I think it's weird. I think that he didn't sign up to get COVID. So I don't know what the big, concern is. You're sick. You got to sit out the days. Y'all lose 2 weeks of getting to know each other. It just is what it is. So they really don't have much of a storyline, right? But one thing that I thought was funny was that whenever Zach is on FaceTime talking to the other couples, he ends up saying, we're missing out on our honeymoon. And that's what Mirla says. She ain't missing much. And I thought it was funny. Because while we're used to Mirla complaining, I feel like that was something that any one of us would say if the honeymoon wasn't really hitting for nothing. I feel like Mirla is a combination of bad editing and also bad attitude. It's a little bit of both. I feel like she is editing gold. She complains so much that whenever they chop it up next to each other, it makes her look really, really bad. But I feel like if we were to meet Mirla without the raw editing, she wouldn't be as bad. You understand what I'm saying? She wouldn't be as bad. A lot of the things still hold true, but this episode, I feel like I disliked her a little bit less than I felt before. And that may be because Gil was up there basically showing his ass. Gil said, I'm not black, I'm Dominican. Okay, so, anyway, while the couples meet up, they're having a conversation about politics. The person who leads the conversation really is Mirla and Gil. Mirla believes that if someone doesn't have the same political beliefs as her, that the relationship isn't going to work. Gil, on the other hand, says that none of that stuff should matter. And he believes that if, the president, y'all know who he's talking about, the old president, is doing something to further his career, that's who he's going to place his money on, basically. He feels more comfortable doing that. He doesn't care about, the social issues or anything like that. All he cares about is advancing his career. It's black people like that. And yes, he appears black. He's black. Okay? He's black. What's he? Dominican? He's the Dominican Colombian. He's still black. Okay? But this episode, like everything Mirla said, I wasn't mad at all. When it came to politics, I feel like to each his own. The women who were more liberal, which were Brett and Mirla, believed that being with someone who was Republican or conservative, was damn near impossible. And I completely understand why they think that, because the whole reason why they believe that is because the issues that's important to Mirla and Brett are social issues. I think that Brett explained it really, really well whenever she said, I understand conservatism and that type of lifestyle, but it's the social issues that are important to me. So yeah, that's important to you, for a man to lead the household and things like that. But it's also important for Brett to know that Black people aren't just getting gunned down for no reason. So I definitely saw where Mirla and Brett were coming from. Whereas on the other hand, Gil and Ryan feel like if these laws, put my career on the fast track or I get paid more money, at the end of the day, that's what matters to me. And that's very much what the conversation sounded like from what we saw in the editing. So Mirla, in this conversation, at first, they definitely tried to make it seem like you were tripping, but I definitely understood. So I'm definitely about to bounce around. So y'all just hold tight, okay? Anyway, Brett brings up that conversation later on to Ryan. Ryan says that, he's glad that she brought it up, but to him, honestly, it's not really a big deal. Of course it's not a big deal, okay? Which is why things are going to keep happening. And it sounds like you, Ryan and Gil, just want to keep on making America great or keeping America the way it is as long as their pockets stay full. But whatever, y'all revealed yourselves. Don't be shocked if we see Eric from last season, Ryan and Gil going out and hanging out with each other and stuff like that. Don't be shocked at all. Okay, so I want to dive more into Mirla and Gil. Let's touch on the high points from them. So at the beginning of the episode, they have a conversation about Mirla changing her last name. One of the things that I thought was the only thing where I was kind of like, Mirla, why do you keep doing that? y'all know that Mila wants to keep her last name in memory of her father, which is perfectly fine. I told y'all that my sister-in-law was thinking about doing that before she married my brother. So yeah, it was something she was thinking about, right? But Mirla almost used it as a defense tactic when it came to Gil, as if Gil couldn't say anything to her about anything. Basically, like, I'm not changing my last name. So I feel like she kind of used the fact that her father is no longer alive in a way that put Gil in a position to feel awkward. She didn't want to compromise at all. But that's for them to figure out. Honestly, I'm not one to tell a woman, you have to change your last name or not. I feel like that's up to the discretion of the woman. The only thing I wanted to point out was the fact that she was definitely unwilling to compromise. And I didn't like the way that she decided to go about this conversation. She definitely felt like Gil had no room for an opinion at all, because every time Gil said something, it was almost as if she was saying, oh, my dad's not alive. Oh, my dad's not alive. Yes, definitely. There we go. Manipulative. That's exactly what it is. Yes. And some people say you can have two last names. Some people don't want to do that. But what I've seen for a lot of the alternatives is women will remove their actual middle name and change their maiden name to their middle name. So it's still other ways that you can keep the name alive, but that's for them to figure out. Okay. So I want to say towards like the end of the episode, they get a little bit deeper in their conversation, and Gil starts asking Mirla about her childhood. So Mirla lets us know that she grew up poor, and he says like dirt poor. And you could tell she kind of felt a way about him saying dirt poor because she repeated it later on. It was a lot of things that Mirla did during this episode that she tried to play off as a joke, but I definitely picked it up. Y'all in the comments, please drop down. How many times do y'all think Mirla said, divorce check, please? She said it once when they were talking about politics. She said it another time when they had a discussion about childhood and children. And I want to say she said it towards the end of the episode, but she kept joking about it, which lets me know Mirla does not want to compromise. Mirla does not want to change her ways. And if Gil doesn't just fit into her life, then she will get a divorce, because the way she joked about it, like divorce is nothing. Divorce check, divorce check. So I'm like, okay, like that's not a game, but whatever. So yeah, Mirla grew up poor. In a 300 square foot home. And she said basically she's always wanted to live a life of glamour, and none of this is new. So then she asked Gil about his upbringing, and Gil says that he also grew up poor, but the commonality is both of them said they were poor, but always had food. So I guess not dirt poor, like Gil was saying. So then they start talking about the future. How many children do you want? Gil says that he wants 7 to 8 kids because as he has siblings, but he was raised as an only child. So he wants 7 to 8 kids. And this is where I feel like they tried to make Mirla look like a bitch, but she wasn't wrong at all. 7 to 8 kids? Really? With what money? I don't understand. I feel like it was very normal for people years and years and years ago to have 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 kids. Hell, my dad is one of 14. I understand that, but it's definitely a reason why the next generations were only having 2 to 3 kids. Everybody just said, oh, I want a boy and a girl. That's because people's pockets were getting empty. So Gil, you want a lot of kids with what money? I don't understand people saying that they want children, knowing that it's going to change your lifestyle in a way. You're tripping, okay? T. Parrish says, not on a firefighter salary. It's J-Dub, what's up? 7 or 8 kids on a firefighter salary. Everybody is saying that, literally. Didn't make sense to me. So, yeah, definitely this whole episode, I was agreeing with Mirla, actually a lot. So at the very end of the episode, one of the things that Mirla did that was very sweet, in my opinion, is she decided to surprise Gil. But something about the way that Mirla surprised Gil let me know that it was prompted. It just felt very prompted, because all of these surprises is like, oh, just call room service and ask them to sit this out on the patio. So she got him like 2 to 3 dozen cookies. He loves cookies, and she was just smiling, and it just seemed real nice. But I was like, Mirla did not think of that on her own. She definitely, just did it, right? Then the other thing that they sit down and talk about is she says that once they get home, she's excited to create a home with the both of them. And I was like, damn, look at Mirla sounding fairly normal. Look at her not having the bad edit for once, okay? And he really liked that idea, but one of the things that they're going to have to run into is the fact that he has a dog. She does not want to walk his dog. He was personally offended. He let her know it's not like, I'm asking you to be doggy daycare. And he says, as long as we have someone in the house that's able-bodied, why would I pay for a dog walker? So this is where I want to ask y'all another question. Drop down in the comments, my live squad, people watching on the playback. Do y'all think that Mirla is doing too much by requesting that he have a dog walker? Who is wrong in this situation? Is Gil wrong for just assuming that somebody is going to pick up the responsibility of taking care of his dog? Or is Mirla wrong because it's like, it's just a dog? Honestly, y'all, I have a dog, right? And my first instinct is always like, it's just a dog, but that's because it's my dog. I would never assume anybody who I just met off the street to take my dog's responsibility. What they should do, in my opinion, is hire a dog walker until Mirla gets comfortable enough to take the dog out. I mean, if she got the coin for it, if you got the coin for it, it just is what it is. So this is what I am seeing. T. Parrish says, I choose my dog over Mirla any day. I can definitely see it that way. But him requesting her to take responsibility, I was like, you're doing a lot. Janice says Gil is wrong. Dominique says dogs are my deal breaker. Gil is wrong. Gil is wrong. Gil is wrong. Gil is wrong. Y'all are killing me because everybody is seeing it the same way. Gil is wrong. Here we go. Love for Desi. Gil, he is just sitting there assuming, let her get comfortable. Yes, that's exactly what I said. Let her get comfortable with the dog first. But my thing is, Mirla seems so against it that I don't know if she will get comfortable with the dog, and she'll basically just be like, nah, let's continue to pay the dog walker. And honestly, y'all, that is a pretty coin because I have hired people to take my dog out, like if I've never been able to go home after work or something like that. And it's usually around used to be like $15. So think about that, $15, 5 days a week. How much is that? I can't do the math at the top of my head. $75. $75 a week for somebody to take your dog out. That's an additional bill. Okay. Regular people ain't got it like that. Firefighters ain't got it like that. I mean, that's $75 you can be spending on meals for the week. So we'll see. Mirla's definitely not going to pick it up. So one thing Gil better know is if you start to pay for a dog walker, you will never stop. But that's also just the name of the game because it's your dog and not her dog. Okay. So who do y'all want to talk about next? I think we should go ahead and talk about Rachel and Jose. Y'all, I will say Rachel and Jose, I was a little bit more comfortable watching them this episode. I still feel like Jose is doing too much on the affection side. I don't know if he's just an affectionate person or if he's just trying to put on. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments again. But I don't know. I got a little bit more used to them. But then whenever they showed all the mashup clips of them kissing for like 20 seconds straight, I was just like, I'd rather not. I'm good on that. Y'all, okay, I saw this tweet on Twitter. It was so funny. I'm sitting here just having a casual conversation with y'all. For those of y'all who are new to my channel, y'all are my friends. I come here to have a conversation with y'all. This ain't no... Okay, so I was on Twitter. If y'all don't follow me on Twitter, go ahead, follow me on Twitter because I like to live tweet during the episode. And I saw this tweet and they said, Jose's spicy ass bragging about their credit score. And it was a GIF and it was like this. I thought it was hilarious because Jose was like, I have an 815. He was so ready to say that on TV, like, yeah, okay. So that was funny. Jose is real spicy. So What they talk about this episode, they start discussing trips. Okay. He asked Rachel, what do you want to do before you have kids? And she says, I want to go on a big trip. She says she wants to go to Greece. And he says, well, do you want to have kids sooner than later? So if you have them sooner, you're going to have to do in-state trips. And he's just being very controlling. Really, the overall summary of Rachel and Jose this episode is Jose is slowly starting to show his ass. He's starting to become the person that his friends and family have warned her about. So one of the things we also discover about Rachel is that she didn't know how to ride a bike. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, the experts actually did a good job matching them on paper, because Jose likes to control. And something about Rachel, to me, seems like she likes to be led, but she doesn't want to be controlled. So he was extremely excited to teach her how to ride a bike. Whenever they rode to wherever they want to go, they had a discussion about a joint account. Jose says that everything to him is a checkbox. He's worked so hard to get where he is. And like I told y'all in my first review on Jose, or maybe it was the second one, but in my first review, I felt like even down to this marriage was a checkbox for Jose, which is why Married at First Sight was a perfect show for him, because honestly, y'all, I had suspicions on Jose from the beginning. They're not completely gone, but let's just say hypothetically, you're a man who is not necessarily interested in women, but that's the image that you want to show, right? You don't really care what woman you get as long as she checks all the boxes. That's why I feel like this is a perfect scenario for Jose. On the other hand, y'all, Jose very well just may be metrosexual. I'm just telling y'all what I'm seeing on the screen, because this is an opinionated review. It is what it is, okay? Some people are going to be upset at that, but that's the way I feel, y'all. You will come to a show like this because if having your loans paid off is a checkbox, getting a house is a checkbox, eventually you have a certain age where you want to get married by, a certain image that you want to uphold. So I'm sure he's like, okay, boom, get married, get a wife, boom. And he just really wants somebody who he can get along with. That's how I feel about it. So Jose basically tells Rachel, like, we need one account. This is how we're going to do the finances. All our money is going to be deposited here. And then you can pull from whatever's left over. I would be uncomfortable if I was Rachel. Like, you're with this man for 8 weeks. From majority of the people that I've been hearing, none of them recommend putting all of your money in one account. I had a girl who I worked with one time. She was doing that with her boyfriend. And I was like, have you lost it? She said, I have to ask my boyfriend if it's in the allowance for me to go do XYZ. That's where I was like, you're tripping. Now, you know, if you're a married couple and this is what you want to do whatever floats your boat. But if you're a married couple on this show and you've been with him for 5 days, no way my entire income is getting deposited into an account with yours. And then if y'all get divorced in 7 weeks from this discussion, then you're going to have to clean up the accounts. So Rachel, I really don't want you to be convinced. We know that that is one of your traits that your friends say you have. You change yourself based on who you're in a relationship with. So I hope that whatever opinions you have, you definitely express them and Jose finds a way to compromise, because Rachel is very much giving like, I'm concerned, but if that's what he wants to do, that's just what we're going to do. And Nana, she says, can you imagine if her credit score was higher than his? I feel like he would have been pissed. He would have been pissed. He would have been pissed. He's such a perfectionist, and that smile on his face was hilarious. Another thing that we find out about Rachel that we didn't quite know was while the couples are out on a boat, they're playing Never Have I Ever, and we find out that she cheated in one of her relationships before. That was a trigger for Jose because he said that his dad cheated on his mom, which kind of explains even more why Jose is the way he is. Maybe he was raised by his mom, and that's why he has, you know, a lot of touch with his femininity. So who knows? But they really didn't dive into it enough. So I hope that there's something that they bring up later on. I want to find out like when she cheated, why she cheated, so on and so forth. Okay. But that's pretty much it with Rachel and Jose. So who else do we have left over? I think we can go ahead and talk about Johnny and Bao. Johnny and Bao. Bao, girl. You were, I saw Jamie, that's me's thumbnail. Too honest. Too honest, and I would have to say a little bit nasty. Like, I'm not even playing with you. Whenever Bao first started talking about, sometimes after a long day, you just hit the sheets and you fall asleep. Okay. And that's not normal. I'm just saying once every blue moon. But when this girl said, sometimes I just want to work out, not shower, and be stinky and dirty in peace. What? Girl, you're a grown ass woman. That is disgusting. That's disgusting. And if I was Johnny, I definitely felt him when he said that this is usually where I run, because that's a red flag in a relationship where if somebody told me that and you told me that you didn't care about your hygiene, like what do they say? Cleanliness is next to godliness. So that lets me know that if you cannot stay organized or, care about yourself in that way, like what else do you not care about? Very weird. And then the other thing I thought was odd was you was damn near crying last episode saying that people were laughing at you for snoring in band camp, but then you come on national TV at 30 years old and let us know that you don't like to shower. So now not only will people talk about you snoring, but now you see all these thumbnails on YouTube where everybody is talking about you not showering, snoring, lack of showering. Like, I'm not understanding, why is this like a trend that we've been hearing over the past couple months? Like last year, one of the trending topics on Twitter was white people not washing their legs and feet and toes. That was a trending topic on Twitter. Then after that, Summer Walker was saying that she only liked to take bird baths. She didn't like to shower. Then we get Ashton Kutcher and all these other people basically just saying they don't shower, or they wait until they get a stench. And I'm like, what's going on? Why are we trying to normalize this? Let's not normalize this, okay? So, among other things, Johnny and Bao. So they had their first disagreement or whatever. And this is in regards to him joking about her snoring. They have a conversation about it. And Johnny ends up telling Bao that he had a fight or flight moment, and this is usually when he dips. Bao said that she notices it. She said she felt judged, but she appreciates him being honest. She says she definitely overthinks sometimes, and Johnny says he notices that about her. So he wants to help get her out of her head and get her into her comfort zone. So the couple, they go out parasailing. They want to have a good time. And this is whenever they start talking about living arrangements. This is where it's going to go downhill, y'all. And I told y'all from the beginning, if this couple suffers, it's going to be because of Bao, because Bao is rigid. One of the things that she brings up is she's excited to go home, but she's a little nervous about their living situation because Johnny says that he hasn't lived with anyone in 8 years. And Bao ends up saying, the older you are, the more rigid you become. So does this mean that she's not going to take showers, y'all? Y'all tell me what y'all think. Random side note, y'all. I just start thinking, this girl not only doesn't want to shower, but she wears swimsuits around the house. And y'all already know swimsuits and lingerie are not the same thing. Referencing last episode, she says that she prefers wearing swimsuits around the house rather than lingerie. You already know that your little cooter cat can't breathe in a swimsuit because it's made for water. So if you're walking around the house not showering and wearing swimsuits, that's just, I'm sorry. Y'all getting all my random thoughts. The box is hot. You got to stop, Bao. I wish you didn't tell us that because I'm embarrassed for you. I'd love to see your thoughts on this. So anyway, they go on a group outing. Johnny ends up getting stranded. They end up wasting our time a little bit more. Johnny ends up coming back. Bao says it's moments like that that makes you realize how much you really love someone. So she was excited to see Johnny on the boat. She hugged him. They look real cute, but I feel like even though they're addressing issues head on, just wait until they go home. They're skating over this. This is definitely something that's gonna pop back up. Okay, they are showing who they are. Johnny is going to get in a bunch of these fight or flight modes, and I feel like majority of the time he's gonna want to take the flight mode. So we'll see how it goes. And Bao definitely overthinks. So we already talked about the showering situation. And lastly, we find out that Johnny has talked to his dad. So Johnny talked to his dad, and the first thing his dad said on the phone was, "Did you get married?" And he says, "Yeah." Then next, the dad wants to know, is she Asian? Once the dad finds out that Bao is of the same culture as them, he's automatically relieved. He's excited for Johnny. And Bao had goosebumps. But y'all, I knew that was going to happen. I told y'all, I feel like for Johnny's dad, he was afraid that it was going to be a loss of culture. I feel like especially for older people and people who have, people who are really in touch with their culture, it's important for them to carry that on into their marriages, so on and so forth. So now that Johnny's dad knows that their culture and traditions are going to get passed on, he's perfectly fine with that. But really, this episode was like nothing. Okay, besides that, we find out that the only couple who had sex was Michaela and Zach. That's pretty much it. And then we also find out that Gil and Ryan voted for Trump. Probably. I mean, that's the assumption I'm making based on the way they describe their lifestyles. But the episode was boring. And if y'all waste my time again, Lifetime, I'm just going to get on live and complain about y'all wasting my time because I'm still going to watch every week. So that was pretty much it, y'all. I will see y'all at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. We're going to be on Bondi Blue's channel. Y'all better meet me over there at 8 p.m. We're going to talk about hot topics. And of course, we're going to round out all the shows that happened this week. So until then, I guess I will see y'all in the next video. Like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, tell me what y'all think.